All right, guys. Welcome to today's edition of Get Through Show, your favorite YouTube show. Today, we want to talk about domestic violence. It's a part two. We have done part one before. You can check down below and click on so you can follow on this part two. And we have a guest in our midst. Why do people always want to stay in a domestic violence? We'll find out from the rest of the squad. And of course, don't forget we have a guest in the house. She's an Antonian, very beautiful young lady. You will have to meet her in the next. And don't touch the dial. They are coming through now. See you. Welcome, guys. I told you there's beautiful people right here. And also we have a guest, like I said earlier, Advocate Sibongile. She's a beautiful lady on a red. Welcome, Sibongile. And yes. Okay, guys. On my far left is Ori, the young Mandela. And you all know Mr. David, TJ. Shout out to God. And it's my humble self, Victor Chibuzo. Guys, we're talking about domestic violence and why do people stay. And this is a part two. Like I said earlier, down below, we have a part one already. You can click on that afterwards, and this is a part two of it. I'll start with Tunji.
Oh, God.
Shout out to God, bro. Listen, guys, we're talking about domestic violence here, and why do people stay in domestic violence? Why they don't want to leave, but they want to die in that marriage, in that relationship. Tunji, I'm gonna start with you. Why do you think they don't want to leave?
In all humility, in life we learn every day. I remember that the same vibe that I was on in the part one, from that time till now, I've also had a different kind of experience. I've also studied more, and I've also made my research. And one of the reasons, in as much as I don't want anybody to stay, but I realize that detachment is a problem.
Okay. True.
It's a struggle, Vic. True. Like people are, you can't expect, and we are human. And with all humility, we need to start recognizing how and be grateful that we are not wired the same other people are wired.
True.
Because I realize that, look, detachment can be easy for other people, but it's not easy for some people. Now, one of the, I don't want anybody to be, in a domestic violence. It's actually like we shouldn't be even talking about that. I mean, guys, we've just gone through the worst pandemic. Now, domestic violence is now another pandemic again. So now, number one thing is this. A person is used to a certain lifestyle, area of life, how to do, how not to do. Let's say, for example, in the past 5, 6, 7 years, or even 10 years of her or his life. Regardless of family welcoming, connection, networking, work, job, home, these are, what the body wants. Let's even talk about the sex, which can also be like a huge determining factor in some, relationship or marriage. So now, it is difficult for the same person or the same people now to start detaching, rerouting, and doing all of that. And in one of my research, one of the reasons the most porous time of an abuse of domestic violence was between 2020 and 2021, whereby everybody is home. There are things that you can forgo let go because people can have an issue with your boyfriend or your husband, but you're going to work. So I realized that some people, their workspace was their circum, the distraction. Thank you, V. So their workspace was their distraction. Their going around activity was their distraction. But now all of that was shut down. You are in the same space with the person. The things that you can quickly forgo before you come back from work, it's even out of your system. It's now a problem because we are in each other's space every day. So Vic, for now, it's not easy to detach.
Okay, that's a good one, guys. Advocate Sibongile, think I will start with you lastly, because we want to hear you, right? Ori,
Yes.
Why do they want to leave? Like, I mean, you see someone with bruises, sometimes you see this person is going down, but she doesn't want to leave the partner.
Well,
As for me, I feel like I have two options. Okay, the first one may be maybe their children, because we've seen it over the time where they have children and the woman doesn't want to leave the relationship, the marriage, because if she leaves, the children will suffer most. So
Me and Lori are going to fight.
she,
Yo.
because, you see, that is the perspective. When you go out there and see a lot of people, when they tell you things, you'll be able to digest and see. You see this situation that I'm telling you, I saw it while growing up. The woman are living opposite our house. The woman and the husband fight most every day. The husband, once the husband is coming from work, he will branch to another place drinking. He hasn't dropped any money at home. Not as if he's buying that drink, but when he gets there, people will buy drink for him. So when he got back home, fighting every day. Let me tell you, they are still together today, till today. I'm telling you now. So it's something that I've seen, not as if they told me.
Sorry, what you're saying is the woman is there for the sake of the children, not because she can't detach.
A lot of, that's why I'm saying I have two options. This one I've seen it, and a lot of women will still tell you the same thing that I'm telling you now. So a lot of women want to see their children like, okay, I will manage, I will try, let me build my children and all those things. Then the second one that I've seen is that maybe the financial. They've seen like, okay, this guy has this money, he's taking care of me, so it doesn't matter. He can fund my lifestyle and everything. So they will never leave.
And you rather die.
See, we've seen it over and over. These are the things we see. And it's out there. You understand? So there are some steps where she needs to take, right? I'm not saying this is okay, but this is what we have seen there. And this is what we have to talk about. So a lot of people is because this man is financing them and is the only one that can care at that time for their lifestyle. So they will rather be there trying to change the man if they can change him or, and all those things. So that's what I see.
Do you know that I think in most cases, the major reason that makes victims to stay is fear. You get fear. Because sometimes you find out like this person is blinded with some certain things. Let's say, let me just make an example of a woman. You've been in this kind of domestic violence, and you stick because you have fear, because your mind is blinded. You get what I mean?
I think with everything that is happening in the country right now, where men are killing women and children, women become very reluctant to leave abusive relationships because they fear for their lives. Yes. Because we've heard it time and time and again on the news, men killing women and children. So I guess if you are married and he's threatened you that he's going to kill you. So you start wondering, should I even leave? Because I will die. But I think the most important reason why women stay in abusive relationships is because of finances. It's the financial dependence on men, where men is providing for them. And if I leave this man, where am I going to go?
Advocate.
Thank you.
That's the biggest reason why. And apart from that, I think women just have this twisted idea of what love is.
Okay.
You need to know what love is as a woman, even as a man. Love is not being beaten up by a man. If a man is beating you, he doesn't love you. It's that simple.
Yes.
That's simple.
So people have this twisted idea of what love is. So also you need to be self-aware. You need to know your worth. People out there don't realize how worthy they are. You don't deserve a man who's going to beat you up.
Yes.
You don't deserve a man who's going to threaten to kill you. But at the same time, I feel like there are women who love dangerous men.
Yes.
True.
It just sets them on some kind of a high. To have a guy who's going to smack you every now and again, it just gives them some kind of a
After
high.
that, you buy a flower or make love to them, they feel okay.
No, Vic. I
Make
don't.
upset.
I hear what advocate
wait,
is
wait,
saying, but
wait.
advocate, are you not thinking of that is not that there are just certain women. It's how they were raised in an abusive home, an abusive family. No, of course, I'll give you an example. Advocate, I've seen in an environment whereby, okay, how am I gonna put this now? Because the people are gonna watch me. I know people who I know women who they grew up seeing how their parents seeing violence in their family. That I know the person that before you will have sex with her as a boyfriend, you need to smack her first. She needs to feel pain. She needs to do all of that. So you can't tell me you can't. So you no, it's not. It's how you don't get. It's how they were raised.
I think you're right.
Have you not seen people? Have you not seen people who tell you, a woman who tell you, my marriage is boring because my husband does not beat me?
I think he's right. There are people who are socialized like that, who come from those kind of twisted kind of families. But even then, there's a big problem there with the root.
Of the thank you. I appreciate how deep you you go into it.
Advocate, let me say this. Do you know you as a lady, why do women always feel like they can fix this? You dying. You being abused every day. And you busy saying I'm giving him chance to change, to fix it, but things keep on happening.
Other thing
Like,
is
why?
you don't want to be seen as a failure.
Why
You don't
so?
want to be seen as a failure by the community, by
what
your
people gonna say?
by your church, by society, by your friends. You don't want to be seen as a failure. So if you're gonna walk out of this marriage, you're going to be seen as a failure. And it's almost like a social standing also in society to be recognized as Mrs. So and so. Then rather than this single woman and how old are you? You don't have a man. That comes also with
these single women that
the
can't
negative
even work on their
connotation. If you're a single woman, you don't have a husband, that comes with a negative connotation. Why are you without a husband? You're 35, you don't have a husband. What is the problem? So other women want to have a
this happened in
husband
an African
at
setting.
all costs.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Other women want to have a husband at all costs, even if he beats them up. They want a husband because they want to be affiliated in certain circles and be seen as this married woman and be respected as a married woman than a single woman. So it's a standard as well.
Majority, because I want us to pull, because help me here.
Yeah.
In the country where we are in right now, advocate. So, what do you think I want us to put it on the eye, because you said now that you just mentioned now that it is the finance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
here is what
major one.
here is what I want you to help me with. So, are you saying that the percentage of women who are not well to do financially in more domestic violence, marriage, or relationship than the women who are well to do? Because I've seen on the news whereby a female minister was constantly abused in a marriage for over 7 years.
Yeah.
So a minister,
she's still there.
yeah, a minister at that time. So a minister is not someone who is not well to do. So I need you to help me with that.
Yeah, look, in that scenario, you also get financial abuse. I'd like to call it financial abuse, where maybe the husband is not well off and the wife is the one who's bringing the bread and the bacon and the eggs at home. And the husband is taking the money and taking. So violence is not just physical. It's not just assault. There's financial abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's, and so on, psychological abuse and so on. But financial is the most reason why women stay. But wealthy women, like I said, they stay in those relationships for the status and standard. And they're conforming to society. When they're forming these clubs, they want to be recognized. Do you understand what I'm saying? They want to be recognized as married woman. If I'm gonna leave this man here today, where am I gonna get another husband?
But advocate, then if that is the situation, then we have a lot of problem in our hands, because I wanna believe that in the society we are right now, in this economy, a well-to-do person should not be bullied to do whatever they don't want to do. I mean, I want to believe that a woman who is well-to-do, right? And this is my thing, which gonna bring me back to the next thing I wanted to ask you is that, in the country where we are right now, we are always more focused about the women and children. Yeah. I think, is it because that is what the mainstream media put in our faces? Because I promise you also, there are men who are being abused as well.
Yeah.
But now we literally, I think when it comes to the women part, we get now emotional. Now it's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
I think
It's not
society.
like, no,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, advocate. Listen.
I think society doesn't accept that a woman can beat up a man
They always
because
feel-
of physically.
Yes.
But you just
Physical attributes.
You just educate us now that
Yeah.
domestic violence is not a physical thing
Yeah.
alone, right?
I hear you.
A woman can abuse a man that is not kind of functioning very well in maybe monetary aspect.
Yeah.
A woman can abuse a drunkard. You coming back home always drunk. You keep on fighting, and when you're drunk, you can't do anything. They will abuse you. We have men like that, but the reason why I disagree with Tunji is the more we realize that a woman is a woman and go anywhere, they will put her first.
And then
Even if she's abusing you as a man.
If you make such statement, then you're crucifying the men and laying it on the cross and making the men who are in an abusive relationship feel as if they can endure it. She just made a vital point. The society does not want to accept it. Not because it is not happening. But I can tell you that exactly. So now, so what is the mainstream media is putting the women in front. I'm not saying abuse should be condemned, but I'm just saying the same level and energy we put on women getting abused, we should put it on men as well.
For example, what happens to a man who goes to the police station and lays a charge against their wife? The police will just laugh at him.
Thank you so much.
They will think you're not serious.
But now,
What is this? Yeah, what is this?
If the same man, for you to see how root and deep this thing, if the same man now, coming from being laughing off, switch to a mode of violence,
Anger.
go back to the same house, shoot the woman on the head, then the woman goes to the police station and see them coming like an army.
With troops. I know that.
Yeah, but but nothing justifies violence. Even if a woman shouts at you, uses your money, financially abuses you, emotionally abuses you, it does not justify you to beat her up. So even if she goes back to that police station and gets attention because you have assaulted her physically, then the police should pay attention to that. Because whatever the woman does, that does not justify for you to lift your hand on her.
Advocate.
And that's what I always
This
say.
This goes to the responsible men because
I just love hearing what you're saying.
advocate because there is some irresponsible men out there. Do you get what I mean?
Men and women, bruh.
Yes, but
I need you to state it.
you just want us to be
Men
in the
and
same.
women, yes,
Okay. But at the end of the day, but she made it clear. She made it clear that even if you go to the police station, they will laugh at you. At the end of the day, but also
Most likely. Most likely.
But
9 out of 10 times.
I want to hear from you before I answer Ori. Advocate, as a female, as a woman, do you think staying in an abusive marriage or for the children, do you think it's a thing? Do you think it's what it's a good factor?
It's very bad because as a parent you have a responsibility to model for your children what a good relationship is. Because those children are learning from you and your husband on how to treat people, how good relationships are. So you need to be a perfect model for your children. And if these children need to witness violence in the house time and again, they're not going to be happy. Those children are better off with a single parent who is not being physically assaulted and abused and is happy. So yeah, definitely.
I would never advise anybody to stay in any. Look, until we start seeing until we start seeing the children as a not the children does not belong to us. If every parent can go to a perspective of there is an higher power that just make these children come through us, they don't really necessarily belong to us. And this is always my point. I know it can sound unreal. It can sound, it may not suit your psychology. It may not suit what you think. Guys, we have been in a situation whereby, I'm sure you can attest to it. We have seen kids who are orphaned.
Yes.
They grew up to be the great person that God has made them to be.
That's true.
So now, from a moment whereby somebody is ready, I'm not talking about going to work sacrifice. I'm not talking about fending for your family sacrifice. It gets to a point whereby you think, I'm staying in this marriage because my kids will suffer. Trust me, the kids does not belong to you. The kids are given to us by God to nurture them to the world. The maker himself already know what they will become, either with you or without you.
But physically, as a humans.
Oh, if we keep doing
Anthony,
if we keep getting emotional about it, people are still going to be dying.
Wait. I understand what he's saying. Yeah. But now let's look at this way. You were a mother. Mothers, they find it very difficult to, like, she can't blink without knowing how the kids are doing.
Question. So when the person stays in, and finally when the person stays and finally she died, what happens to the same kids?
Listen, Anthony, listen. This is my take on this, right? I'm not advising any woman going through this to stay. You know why? Number one is that you're gonna die, and the kids you're fighting for will be useless if they want to be useless, right? So if worse come to worse, just leave. Grant the father access to see the kids when you want to see the kids. You have to be in peace with yourself, because at the end of the day, I've seen people that want to fix it. Boom, they 6 feet. You get what I mean? Because when a useless man allows you,
a useless man or woman
or women, that feels like you know what happens when you give someone, okay, when you be like, okay, no, my husband, your friend is telling you no, Chami, why he keep on hitting you, why he keep on damaging your face, and you be like, no, I love him because of my kids, he's gonna change, but it keep on repeating itself. Do you get what I mean? Because also some friends will make you to stick there and say, if you go out of your house, another woman will come in. Now she will be like, okay, I don't want to lose my home, but they're busy pounding you like a potato.
Okay, I wanted to ask, what is the percentage of a woman or a man who have sat
really advocating
in a
for men?
Yeah, who has sat, no? What is the this is not even about men alone. Advocate, what is the percentage of men and a man or a woman who have stayed in an abusive relationship or marriage for the sake of kids and the marriage turns well? What is the percentage? And to the percentage of the ones that said, I don't want to live because of my kids, and they die.
Look, it definitely does happen where you get even men who are saying that I'll stay until my children are 21 or my children are 25.
Good.
And some of them stay until the children
So I'm saying,
are,
so what is the percentage
older.
of the one that falls right and the one that I'm staying, let's say the kids are 11 and I'm going to stay in this abusive relationship till my kids are 25, which is about 12 years to come. So how many of them survive or even get to the 12?
I'm sure it's a small number.
Okay, so then what
I think 40%.
I'm sure it's a
You
very
think,
small.
where's your start?
I'm sure it's...
Where is your start from? Your start is from your head.
No, but what are you saying?
Exactly. I'm saying that how many of put in
That's what I'm telling
perspective
you.
now. So I want to see your start from where.
Okay.
What is your source?
Okay.
You're just going to sit
Well,
down on a
ask
yellow.
me then.
You're going to
Okay,
sit down
okay,
on an.
ask me what you wanna ask.
Exactly. You can't sit down on an orange couch and say it's 40%. Where is your fact? What is your source? I'm saying a mother or a father that decide to stay in an abusive relationship or marriage because of the kids. Now, what is the percentage of the ones that stayed and it works for them, and the percentage of the one that stayed and they died?
Look,
Which one is higher?
We don't have the exact numbers.
But from what is...
But we can just tell you that generally the few make it.
That's why
Very,
I'm
very,
trying to let
very
you know
few.
that that's from my
Very
perspective
few
is
make
40%.
it.
Okay. So is 40% in an 100
We
a
need to
pass.
see a research, if maybe there was a research that was done, maybe carried out by an institution.
Because if
so
we
that
even-
if we're going to see
You have to do
specific
it then,
numbers.
because if I'm telling you 40%, I'm saying it because I did. You have to do that also. Yes, I've done that, because at the end of the day, even the ones you thinking like
So
is
40%
correct,
a pass?
you find out, no, it's not a pass.
Exactly. So
But-
so that's
But
it.
if we can
That
do
means
better-
that is a
but if
pandemic.
we can do better, we can do it.
Nobody-
Because I've seen people, I've seen
nobody
people
should
that
stay
said
for-
they want to fix it, and
Nobody
it
should stay
turns
for
out
a
well.
child.
I'm telling you, it turns out well.
Subscribers, play it to
you
your
get what I
play
mean?
it to everybody you know. Nobody should stay for a child. Either you are alive, you are not. The child is going to grow to be whoever he or she is destined to
I
be.
think we just have to nail it now. Ori, like, what advice can you give to someone that is passing through this domestic violence?
To churches that are preaching for people to stay in
wait.
in an abusive relationship and marriage, they should move.
Wait, just few minutes, because we don't have time. Ori, like, what advice can you give to people like that?
I can't wait for my own advice.
I was not brought up that way, like abusing women. My father has never done it in my presence. So I will never advise. If you are responsible, there are ways to deal with things at home than, being maltreating or beating or violent. So if you are going through such thing, find your way to get a counselor, and if you think it's too much,
I have a problem. I have a problem with counselor.
you
What
talk.
if the
I know
counselor
you
is brought up in such environment?
Counselor will tell you to fight back.
yeah. If it's at early stage, you can still get a counselor. But if you think it's over your power, then try to move.
My advice is that people need to start working for themselves.
And sorry, Anthony, I'm not cutting you off. Like, this is an advice you're giving to our viewers.
Yeah, I'm giving them advice is to say that they need to work on themselves. They need to get a career. It doesn't matter what kind of career. You need to be independent. Don't depend on a man. Don't depend on a woman. So that when these things do happen in your relationship where your spouse is abusive, you have the choice to walk out. So seek help, seek counseling, try to work on your relationship. There's nothing wrong with giving your partner a chance, but after a while you need to call it quits and you need to walk away. So work on yourself, be independent. The other thing is, when you are married, you must try to bring something on the table. It's not a good idea to have a relationship that is one-sided, because the other spouse is going to feel the pressure too much, and then maybe one day, out of frustration or anger, he's going to start behaving in ways that he never thought he would behave. So if you are married or in a relationship cohabiting with someone, try to help each other, even financially. Ease the pressure financially and otherwise, not just sexually. And try to please each other in different ways, But the very, very, very important, be independent.
This is very clear and loud. TJ.
My advice is not even for people who are in the. My advice is for the churches, the mosque, the whatever organization that want to preach to you that stay, keep going and fix it. There's nothing like that. In the Bible that I've read, God hates divorce, not the divorcee. Let's make it clear. Divorce is what God does not like. He doesn't hate you. So if a marriage is going to a point whereby we are punching, we are eating each other, landing in the hospital, emotionally abused, we are being, your head, your ground is going, pack your bags
Calling third party to come and settle.
and move. You need to move. And look, I'm so humble, ma'am. I think it's always a good thing when you hear it from a female, and then you just look at the perspective and look at it at I haven't heard it this way before, that please each other financially. That is so amazing. That is so amazing. Wow. And it's been amazing.
All right, guys. This topic, like I said earlier, we had part 1 of it, and this is part 2.
Don't stay because of your child. Leave.
And you all heard what our Anthony said about this. Advocate. Barrister, advocate. She's everything, compiled together. And for me, sincerely, you don't have to stay because we see these things every day, even on social medias. Don't allow your friends to tell you if you leave that man, another woman will take over, or if you leave that man, your kids will suffer. They won't suffer. Tunji said earlier here also that what's gonna be is gonna be. God already made plans for these kids. What am I saying here? Don't die in someone's hands because your life is precious. Don't forget, this is Gertrude Show, where it happens. We keep you posted. We're keeping it 100. Don't touch that dial. We have nice topics coming up, guys. Thank you, Sibongile. Thank you, Ori. Thank you, Tunji. It's your boy, Victor Chibuzo.
Don't stay for
Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend that Gertrude Show is where you learn one or two on YouTube. Peace out.
Don't stay for kids. Pack your bags and go.